this is a film that I saw the trailer for and I thought, that looks, Earthquake, that looks a little cutesy for me. I don't know if I want to see this thing. And we went to see it, and I wound up loving it. This is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Now, I'm ignorant of certain internet phenomenons, which apparently this was, series of short videos on YouTube or the internet, about this little, like, mollusky shell with a big eye, where the whole of the shell would be, it's a big eye and these two little sneakers, and it's a stop-motion thing that walks around. This movie was extremely funny, extremely sweet, very touching and moving at times, and really well done. And it's mostly just like this. The conceit of the film is that this guy moves into like an Airbnb, and this little shell and its grandmother their whole family used to live there, but they don't anymore. It's just the shell and the grandmother, and they live in this house, and they just try to stay out of the way of the people who live there. And this guy who comes in, who you don't really see for the most part, you just hear his voice. He decides to film a documentary and do interviews with Marcel and Marcel's grandmother, voiced by Jenny Slate is the voice of Marcel, and the grandmother is Isabella Rossellini. And you hear his narrator voice or his interviewer voice, but it's just interviews. And it is so simple and so well done. And in the old Cinemaniacs, we used to talk about family films versus kids movies. And I said, kids movies are movies that kids like and the parents tolerate or sit through or drop their kids off for. Family films are films that any age that goes are going to get something out of it and enjoy it fully for what it says to them. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is a great family film. A little kid would watch it and think it's funny and cute and like the character and the escapades and things like that. Teenagers would get something out of it because Marcel is about that age. And adults would get something entirely different out of it, with the relationship with the grandmother and the things that it says about life and, forgive me, getting out of your shell and things like that, and growth. Speaking as somebody who is legally and technically an adult, I loved it, and I went in thinking, oh, it's going to be some cutesy kiddie stuff. It really isn't. It's cutesy, and it's got stuff that would appeal to kids, but this works 100% for adults, as I would say, as well for adults as it would for a kid. Totally fine, totally cool for a kid. I think it might have some references to adult things that a kid would never get, so that doesn't matter. And it was so well done. It makes me want to look up these shorts that apparently have been, and it makes a reference to that too. Like, it weaves that into the story of this film, that he has been posting these videos online and people are going crazy and wanting to know all about Marcel and all that. This is an indie release. I don't have in front of me who released this film, but it's not playing in a lot of mainstream theaters. I think maybe AMC had it as one of their like artisan releases. We saw it at a local art house theater near here. So it's going to take a little more effort to see it. This is one that I say see everything in a theater. This will not really suffer on home video because you're really talking about tiny things. There's no really grand sweeping vistas in this. It all takes place in an apartment. So it'll play fine as home viewing, but as an experience to go out and see something that's going to make you feel a little bit better than you did when you walked in, I highly recommend seeing this in a theater. Should still be playing a little bit longer as I record this, but you'll probably watch this on YouTube down the road, and it'll be a dusty DVD or a dusty Blu-ray somewhere, or buried on the 8th page of Netflix or something like that. But I tell you now, whenever you're hearing my voice, go see Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.